I'm investigating a chilling story about 5 dead fishermen washed up on a beach in Mexico's Sea of Cortez. One of the key clues is that the bodies were covered in strange wounds. The local marine biologist was convinced that they were the work of an animal. The marine predator that always springs to mind is a shark, but sharks leave a clear signature, a wound with the distinct curve of a shark's jaw. To get to the bottom of this case, I need some details about those mysterious wounds. But I can't track down the marine biologist in the article. Nobody's heard of him. I'm beginning to have doubts about this story. But I have unearthed other strange reports of fishermen attacked by mysterious creatures in the Sea of Cortez. This one talks about 2 Mexican fishermen dragged from their boats and chewed so badly their bodies could not be identified even by their own families. And another one about a man who fell overboard. As he reached up for help, he was pulled to the depths, never to be seen again. Finding such similar stories in one location can't be a coincidence. I need to get on the ground to investigate. Mexico's Baja Peninsula is a remote strip of land separated from the mainland by the notorious Sea of Cortez. These infamous waters have a dark history of violence. Stories of hidden coves where Spanish pirates buried their treasure and where drug cartels still bury their victims. The barren desert that rises straight out of the sea is mostly uninhabited. Santa Rosalia is one of the few populated areas, a remote fishing community. I ask around to see if anyone knows about the attacks. I'm told I need to go to the beach at sunset to speak to the locals before they head out night fishing.
Buenas noches. Van a pescar hoy?
I ask about the 5 dead bodies. They say they're not aware of the case. But they do have other accounts of attacks at sea. He tells me of a time they took a dog fishing with them. It jumped out of the boat and suddenly the water boiled around it.
All that was actually left of this dog was its head.
This sounds like the work of a shark and not the mysterious animal I'm looking for. I don't think it helps me in my investigation. But they go on to tell me tales of attacked fishermen, including one about a man left covered in unusual bite marks. This sounds like the stories that brought me here, and adds to my suspicion that there's an elusive predator in these waters. But when I ask where I can find this man, I'm told he committed suicide. I'm too late for that victim, but the fishermen tell me the attacks happened in deep trenches off the coast. The Sea of Cortez sits on a series of major fault lines and was formed when the Earth's tectonic plates ripped apart. Under the surface are underwater canyons with depths reaching thousands of feet. The next morning, I hire a boat to take me out to sea. I need to get my line in the water to find out what is really out there. As we approach the deep water, I spot signs of life.
Dolphins coming in towards the boat. That's a sign that these are really rich waters. I mean, they would not be here, if there wasn't food for them to feed on.
Dolphins have been known to attack humans, but they don't usually leave any external wounds, and certainly not the unusual marks I've heard about.
Some big old sea lions on this rock here. Now, they might look a little bit cuddly and comical out of water, but they are actually very efficient predators. They've basically got teeth rather like a dog.
But like sharks and dolphins, sea lions would leave very distinctive marks. You would absolutely know what was responsible. I rule them off my suspect list too. But the fact remains, fishermen here have been attacked by something that lives beneath the surface.
We've just spotted an area of baitfish about a couple hundred yards away, and what happens is you've got small fish swimming near the surface. It alters the pattern of the surface, so you've got these tighter pattern of waves over there. And what we're going to do is we're going to just work backwards and forwards around that. It's quite a big patch, and the chances are, well, we're hoping there's going to be bigger fish underneath that coming in to feed on those small ones. This is what I'm going to put on the end of the line. This mimics small fish in the water. When the boat is moving, that will bring this alive. And the thing about this vein on the front here, this will make it dive down beneath the surface. I'm using wire because the chances are anything that goes after a small fish is going to have teeth. Let's clip that on here. Basically in the sea, there's not a lot of trees and things for fish to sort of swim into and get tangled up. So I've got lots of line on here. Anything large could take off a lot of line. If the worst comes to the worst, we follow it in the boat. So although it might not look like it, this gear here is actually capable of bringing in something weighing a few hundred pounds. There you go, that's ready to go.
We motor at speed, so my lures move like small fish fleeing a predator.
Right, all set. Now we just wait and watch.
But I don't have to wait long.
Oh, yep. So lift, wind down, lift, wind down. It doesn't feel very big, whatever it is.
This isn't a fish that's capable of attacking a human, but it's a promising sign.
Skipjack tuna, and these are perfect meals for anything larger. And the fact that these are around, I mean, it's a bit like, you know, if the zebras are around, you know the lions have got to be there somewhere. So I'll put this one back alive.
I get my line straight back in the water, and within minutes I have another bite.
We've got one on here. This feels like a tuna again. They've got that very characteristic quick release. Oh, there it is.
And these skipjack tuna keep coming.
I think there's something on here. I think it's another skipjack. You can see it quite visibly through the water. Another skipjack tuna. Lots of them down here.
I didn't come here to catch meal-sized fish, but I wonder if I can use this abundance of tuna to my advantage and up my game.
I'm now fishing with one of these skipjacks as bait.
With a whole skipjack tuna on the end of my line, I'm hoping to attract a much bigger predator.
Oh. This rod just sprung back. Doesn't feel like there's anything on there. This is weird, this is weird.
That was definitely a bite, but the tuna and the end of my leader are gone.
Something's just bitten through a piece of wire.
Anything that can bite through wire must have some serious teeth. There's clearly a big predator down there.
Well, I'm not going to find out what that was because it's gone, but I think nothing for it really but to get this line in again.
With another whole skipjack as bait, I'm hoping to lure the culprit back. And I've come up with an unorthodox way of detecting a bite.
Well, what I'm doing, I've got one of the small tuna quite some distance away from the back of the boat. If something hits that bait, even with the drag really, really light, the fact that something is moving at speed through the water, it's going to feel resistance. And what that resistance might do is make it not properly take the bait, spit it out, leave it. So what's going on here is I've got a rubber band clipped to the line. That goes round a cleat here. And then I've just fed some line out into the water, several feet of line, between that and the rod tip, so that if anything hits the bait, the first thing that's going to happen, it's going to break the rubber band, which is like a weak link. But once it's done that, it's going to feel no resistance whatsoever. The theory is, fingers crossed here, it's going to carry on going and I'm going to hook up.
I'm now watching that band for any sign of movement.
It's just, the rubber band has just stretched a couple of times, which could indicate that something's happening down there or is about to happen. Oh, look at that. Oh, here we go. I saw that on the surface.
This time, it looks like it's still there. We used the power of the engine to set the hook.
Go, 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 go! Oh.
Whatever's down there has latched onto an entire skipjack tuna.
Nothing jumping yet, but whatever it was came up on the surface before it made that final hit. What's happening? It's off. Is it off? What's happened there? Something has just torn the fish, torn its head off, basically. The fact that nothing actually jumped out of the water, the fact that this has just been cut pretty cleanly off the rest of the body. It's cut through flesh, it's also cut through the backbone, and it's cut through the gill plate here, so that speaks very much of sharp teeth. And that sort of shape there, it's like a signature, and the signature says very clearly, shark of some sort.
This would explain my bitten off leader, but I don't think this helps my investigation. Great whites, hammerheads and makos are all native to these waters. But I've already ruled out sharks because their bite marks are so distinct. I can't imagine a shark's jaw leaving the unusual bruises and wounds I've been hearing about. My investigation seems to be going nowhere fast, when one of my reels starts screaming.
Yep, go! Get it! Oh! Wait. No slack. We're on the braid now, we're off the nylon, and it's just running. Right, feeling, oh there it is, it's 40, 50 yards off. It's getting close to the boat. So striped marlin this. See the vertical stripes on the body.
For a humble novice to sea fishing, this is a landmark catch. Marlin are truly iconic fish, and it's the first time I've even seen a striped marlin.
So, right, we've got very little time. We've got to get this back in the water quickly, but this is a striped marlin. You can see the stripes, not so clearly now, vertically on the body. But, you know, this thing, everything tells you it's just built for speed.
With a body as streamlined as a spaceship, the marlin is one of the fastest fish in the ocean, reaching speeds of up to 50 miles an hour. It has a distinctive sword-like bill that can grow to more than 3 feet in length and is twice as tough as human bone. This super strong bill is used for hunting. When a marlin attacks a shoal of fish, this weapon stuns the prey.
Look at those eyes. Those are big eyes. One very interesting thing about this fish is fish are cold-blooded, but this particular fish, it has heating for its eyes.
A specially adapted muscle provides heat energy to the eye and enables the marlin to capture light more quickly. Like a high-speed camera, this superpowered vision turns a blur of fast-moving prey into a clear target.
Time to go back. Okay.
These natural-born killers are precision marksmen, perfectly adapted to the fast pace of the ocean.
Marlin, that is a big predatory fish.
Fishermen pulling in big marlin have been speared by that lethal bill. But these were accidental encounters, leaving a single distinctive wound. The stories I've heard speak of multiple wounds. I'm looking for an animal capable of a sustained attack, a persistent serial killer, or perhaps a pack of predators. I'm starting to wonder if I'm only skimming the surface of what's down there. I'm quite literally out of my depth.
Regularly, the depth sounder is picking up 1,000 feet. There are times even when that can't find the bottom. And this is just so different from the kind of fishing that I normally do.
I'm used to fishing rivers and lakes that are tens or at most hundreds of feet deep, but this is a vast ocean. Even more than my usual investigations, finding a killer out here is like looking for a needle in a haystack. As we head back, I wonder if I need a new approach. Back in Santa Rosalia, commercial fishermen are bringing in their daily catch. Wherever I am in the world, the fishing docks can provide vital clues, a rogues gallery of potential suspects. Perhaps here I'll find evidence of other big predators that prowl these waters.
These are mackerel feathers. They used to catch mackerel, which they're just unloading from this barrel here. Oh,
Gracias.
oh, the size of the eye on this fish. This is what goes for those brightly coloured mackerel feathers there. Very nice meal-sized fish, this, but no question of this being a man-eater, though. That seems to be it for today. Quite a few nice yellowtail coming in, very pretty fish. They are, of course, predatory fish. They feed on smaller fish. Very muscular they are, but no way are they any danger to anybody in the water.
Over the years, my many trips to docks like this have given me a bit of a sixth sense. And I'm realising there is something missing here.
One thing that has struck me is all this out here is perfect shark habitat, but no sharks whatsoever coming in. And I have to say, I'm just finding that a little bit puzzling.
I have definitely seen evidence of sharks in these waters, and shark meat can be highly profitable. So I'd expect to see them being brought in here. The fact that nobody is catching them is surprising. As with any investigation, an absence of evidence can be significant. And when I ask why they don't fish for shark, one man who doesn't want to be filmed gives me an intriguing lead.
I've just been talking to someone who says if I really want to know what's going on here, there's a place I need to see. It's all a bit cloak and dagger, but no, he was very clear that I need to see this place.
He described a location further down the coast which he referred to as a cementerio, a cemetery. The directions lead me off the main road.
I've just come past a large bay, so I reckon I'm somewhere around about here. there's what looks like a track going down here, which corresponds to this map here. And then where that meets the sea, that does tend to correspond with this little sketch I've been given. So I think I've got to take this track, see where it leads.
As I head down the remote dirt track, the landscape becomes more barren. And as I approach the sea,
I can see lots of vultures up ahead.
I spot signs of death.
There's definitely something going on here.
But when I take a closer look, it doesn't seem like there's much here.
This looks like just the kind of place where people throw dead fish, which I suppose you could call a cemetery of sorts. So this is, I don't know, what's that? That's a parrotfish or something like that.
There's a strong stench of dead flesh, but I'm still wondering why I've been sent here. When something catches my eye.
Ah, this is different. This is something different here.
Suddenly, I'm surrounded by corpses.
This is a shark. Oh, and I'm almost stepping on something here. I think this is probably another individual. There's the pelvic fins and there's one of the claspers. So this was a male shark. And this is, I'm assuming this is from the same individual. This is part of the tail. This is quite a large shark and fresh. Something over here. It's hammerhead.
Things are suddenly starting to add up, and this creepy location is beginning to make sense.
So this is quite interesting. No sharks coming in at the port when I was there, and also people very clearly saying nobody's catching sharks, but somebody is. And the fact that they're here on this deserted beach, not in the middle of the town, suggests that it's, you know, a bit on the shady side, shall we say.
I'm guessing there's a local ban on shark fishing, and they're being caught illegally. In my experience, fishing bans are put in place when an animal is in serious decline. This may be a clue for my investigation. Nature hates a vacuum, and if the normal top predators are being removed, that could allow something else to take over. And perhaps that creature is behind the attacks I've heard about. I've seen a situation like this before. In the US, the alligator gar is an apex predator whose numbers have been severely depleted.
Coming over.
And this decline has contributed to a horrific invasion. With nothing to control their numbers, invasive Asian carp have taken over whole stretches of river in the Midwest, and a threatening disaster in the Great Lakes.
There's up to 13 tons of these fish for every mile in the river.
And I'm wondering if a similar thing could be happening here in Mexico. A new predator filling the void and wreaking havoc. Perhaps something much more terrifying than sharks. I need some local intel to find out exactly what's going on. These men tell me they are 3 generations of the same family, and they have lived on this stretch of coastline their entire lives.
Y cuando los tiburones?
Francisco tells me that when he was young, this sea was full of sharks.
Okay, judío.
But people quickly realized that shark meat was very valuable. Fishermen here started catching them en masse to sell for shark fin soup, sometimes using dynamite to bring in hundreds at once. He says that shark numbers are now so critically low, the government imposes an annual shark fishing ban. But there's a lot of corruption here, and illegal remains still get dumped on remote beaches. It dawns on me that although I didn't know it at the time, the evidence of shark that I saw out at sea was an increasingly rare occurrence.
That's very interesting. That's confirmed the suspicions that I was having, that the shark here are in decline. They say it's a few decades since there was any number of sharks around, and yes, there is something else that's moved in and taken over, something they call El Diablo Rojo, translates as the Red Devil. Sounds very melodramatic, and they've given me the address of a fisherman who knows a lot about them.
I may have my first concrete lead, the name of a devil-like beast, and a man who can tell me about them. Is this Diablo Rojo the fearsome animal that has been terrorizing these waters? A mysterious sea creature that is the perpetrator of nightmare attacks, that leaves strange bite marks. I need to find out if the red devil that has invaded these waters is really the culprit.
I'm just trying to puzzle out the possible identity of this Diablo Rojo, this red devil that I've just been told about. Now, clearly something pretty terrifying, otherwise why would you give it such a dramatic name?
I've never heard of a red devil before, but I have come across the term devil fish.
It's actually fairly common in different parts of the world to call something devil fish, devil this, devil that.
The grey whale was nicknamed devilfish because of its violent behaviour when harpooned. But although grey whales are big, and they are found here, they're not really predators. I don't think they would attack multiple fishermen or inflict mysterious wounds.
Another possibility is the devil ray. Manta rays are sometimes called devilfish, and that's down to the peculiar anatomy of their heads. They have these projections which look like horns.
There are cases of rays plaguing the water when sharks go into decline. And manta rays are native to the Sea of Cortez. And they are cast as villains in some legends, tales of them circling boats and attacking pearl divers. But rays are filter feeders. They don't have the anatomy to cause the unusual bite marks I've heard about.
Another thing that's sometimes known as the devilfish is the kraken. This is a mythical giant squid that lives deep down in the ocean. And they say it comes up and it drags down ships.
These highly intelligent beasts, armed with barbed tentacles, are creatures of mythology. But I wonder if there's a real creature that might have inspired this myth.
Don Rafa.
I've tracked down the address given to me by the men at the shark graveyard. It's the home of a fisherman named Rafael.
Usted es pescador de Diablo Rojo.
He says that when the red devils first appeared in these waters, he decided to try fishing for them. But it was no easy mission.
Este Diablo Rojo es un animal peligroso?
Sí, bastante peligroso.
Now, he grew up here. You know, he's seen sharks, he's swum with sharks, no problem at all. But he's telling me that this animal, the Diablo Rojo, is extremely dangerous.
He tells me about one of his early devil hunting trips as a young man. It's 11 o'clock at night. He's got his children with him in a boat. He loses his fishing lure, but close to where he's anchored, there's another boat with a spare lure.
Rather than actually paddle to the other boat, he just jumped in the water.
He knew there were red devils down there, but he didn't think they would hurt him. He was wrong. They attacked him from every direction. He felt the flesh tearing from his stomach and neck as they started to drag him down. His children managed to pull him back into the boat, covered in blood.
He He said if he hadn't been able to get out of the water, that would have been it. He'd have been finished. There was many, no way of giving a number. But he says this is something that when you hook one and you're bringing it into the boat, they become cannibalistic. If one is struggling on a line, others will come in and devour that. He says it's almost like a piranha feeding frenzy. Now, the thing about piranhas, from my experience, is if a piranha bites you, they leave a very clear signature. So I'm just curious, if he's got any mementos of that particular incident. ¿Hay algún cicatriz, algún marca?
O sea, muchas.
Muchas, okay. The attack happened more than 40 years ago, but he still has scars.
Aquí está ya.
This one reminds me of something I've seen before. The only thing that I've seen in my experience that's anything like that is caused by a pufferfish. This is the fish that's been biting people here. Cambodia's rivers are full of them. That's almost cut that fish in half. It's actually gone through the backbone. Raphael's scar is too big to be caused by the beak of a pufferfish. But it is a very unusual wound, which certainly ties in with the other attack stories I've heard. The other sea creature that has a beak is a squid. ¿Qué tipo de animal tiene tentáculos? I ask whether this animal has tentacles.
Sí,
Is
sí.
it- no-
Calamar, diablo rojo.
He confirms. It's a squid. He gave me a weight, something like 70 or 80 pounds. That's got to be an animal, I don't know, 4 or 5 foot long. But from what he's saying, we're not talking solitary animals. We are talking about a squid feeding frenzy. I've never fished for squid before, and I'm eager to find out how to do it. When he shows me the lure he uses, it looks more like an instrument of medieval torture than anything I've ever put on a line. And this is the lure, this is the jig. He says this is luminous. The squid are attracted to the glow, and their tentacles become caught on the spikes. These marks here are caused by the beak of the squid. He makes these up himself. He sort of makes them from bits of other lures, and he says you often fish with these very deep, getting on for 1,000 feet. I ask him if he can take me hunting for these devils, but he says I'm a few years too late.
Definitivamente no hay nada.
As suddenly as these large predatory squid invaded these waters, they have now mysteriously moved on. There's something particularly chilling about a beast that is here one minute and gone the next. Well, from that conversation with Rafa, it is now absolutely clear that the Diablo Rojo is some kind of squid. It's also very clear that it absolutely deserves this name that they've given it, the Red Devil. It really seems to inspire terror amongst the fishermen. I'm now certain that these red devils are the animals responsible for all the attacks I've heard about. But the problem I now have is finding them. This red plague of squid seems to have disappeared from these waters almost as suddenly as they arrived. If I'm going to find these mysterious red devils, I need to figure out exactly what type of squid they are. I'm going to meet a man who has dived with a species called the Humboldt squid. Scott Cassell was attacked by these predatory squid, and I want to find out if his experience ties in with what happened to Raphael.
I got hurt. I was surrounded by them, and before I knew what was happening, 2 squid grabbed me on the legs and started to pull me down so fast that I couldn't equalize my ears, and my right eardrum imploded, it ruptured. And as I was trying to fight with them, another one came right up behind me, grabbed my hand and the camera, and yanked back so hard that it dislocated my right shoulder. And so I literally had to fight for my life to get back up to the surface. So that's how bad these squid can be.
This is starting to make sense. Scott's graphic description certainly confirms that these Humboldt squid can be violent. It's all starting to add up. But I still need to track them down. It's one thing hearing about them, but actually seeing what they're capable of is something entirely different.
As I read more about these Humboldt squid, I'm convinced I've identified the Diablo Rojo. Their size matches Raphael's description of up to 4 or 5 feet, and they are certainly the right colour to be called a red devil. They have a beak made of one of the hardest natural substances on the planet, with the bite force of a lion. And I come across other incidences of Humboldt squid attacks in different locations along the Pacific coast.
I was so terrified because, just the thought of being eaten by something is just like something out of a horror movie.
And hundreds of Humboldt squid sightings from California to Alaska. But as in Mexico, the squid seem to disappear as quickly as they arrive. With these animals having such a vast and seemingly random territory, pinning them down won't be easy.
The reason they're called Humboldt squid is because they come from the Humboldt Current, which is way down here in South America. It runs along the coast of Chile and Peru. And I've just come across some pictures of some very large Humboldt squid from a place called Paita in Peru. So I think I really have to check this place out.
It looks like these alien animals are being caught in Peru right now. Finally, I feel like I'm closing in on the notorious Diablo Rojo. So I now have a new mission. These large predatory sea creatures may have left Mexico, but I'm heading 3,000 miles south, tracing this plague of invasive squid back to their home territory, the Humboldt Current, off the Pacific coast of South America. I've come to a remote Peruvian fishing town called Paita, a bustling port and a far cry from the small-scale fishing industry I left behind in Mexico. Clearly, squid have made a mark here.
Señora, ¿este para qué? Calamar gigante.
Right, this is a serious squid lure. It's definitely a squid lure. There's no doubt about that. But it's very heavy duty and much more robust than the one I saw in Mexico. I mean, these are made out of thick steel. It's not just wire. And I'm guessing that, well, this is designed for animals of a serious size.
¿Esta es la línea para pota también?
This is the line they use. I'm guessing that's thicker than any line that I've ever used. I'm guessing that's about 300-pound breaking strain monofilament.
Para hacer
Guante.
guante.
It's basically a very simple type of glove made out of a bit of inner tubing. Even with thick line, you need this. The animals are so big. I need to get out and see some of these creatures.
I need to get fishing. The fishing industry here is one of the oldest in the world, dating back to before the Incas. With over 700 marine species, Peru is still one of the world's leading fishing nations.
There's a lot of boats here. This really, takes you back. You just don't see this kind of place at all very much in the world now.
I'm taken to a commercial squid fishing vessel whose seasoned crew is out on these waters year-round. My chances of tracking down Humboldt squid are looking good. We head out into the vast Pacific Ocean. To find the squid, we need deep water, and we have to travel for days. As all signs of land disappear, I rapidly lose my sense of direction. It becomes sickeningly apparent that this is a far cry from the rivers and lakes that I'm used to.
We've all been ill on this trip, not just the film crew, the boat crew as well. I thought the captain had been okay. Apparently the captain's been ill.
As the days and nights blur, we continue further out to sea, and there's no respite. The relentless sway of the boat is inescapable.
As soon as you actually go inside, you don't have that reference point of the horizon unless you shut your eyes. You start feeling ill very quickly.
Even the sea-hardened fishermen who do this for a living struggle with the tortuous pitch of the boat. But for these men to go to such efforts to find these squid, the catch must be worth the struggle to get here. Finally, after what seems like an endless journey, I'm told we're floating above squid territory. There's no way of reaching the bottom, so we deploy a drift anchor to steady the boat, and we get our lines out.
Here we go.
The technique is basic, just hand lines and that vicious jig, coated in phosphorescent paint so it glows in the dark depths. This ghostly light, combined with a scrap of dead fish and the jig's movement, should trigger the squid's natural predatory instinct.
I'm slightly concerned about the side of the boat here. I mean, no doubt it's all in the name of efficiency, so you can pull squid over easily, but that's actually lower than my knee, so I'm thinking if the boat's tipping a bit, if the surface is slippery, I can imagine it'd be very easy to go over the side.
When Rafael, the fisherman I met in Mexico, got in the water with squid, it was only seconds before they attacked. And the fisherman here warned me that when men fall overboard, the squid converge and drag them down.
And generally they're not seen again. Here we go. Okay.
It's a grueling task, hauling this beast up from the depths by hand.
This is quite tiring. It's trying to keep your balance at the same time. Whoa! Thought it had gone. The boat gives a sudden lurch, and suddenly the line goes a bit slack. I think I can see it. There it is. This feels big. Okay.
The writhing predator fires ink as a defense mechanism.
Come aboard. And here we go. It's just flashing different colours here.
Out of the water, this squid's colour flashes from a devil-like red to inky black.
So this is the beast. This is a Humboldt squid. And just what a weird animal it is. You have the mouth in the middle there, surrounded by tentacles, and inside there you can see the beak.
I have no doubt this is what caused the scar on Raphael's shoulder, and is the brutal weapon behind the other unusual wounds I heard about. It's the key piece of evidence that ties all my stories together. And they have more weird anatomy.
This is the siphon. This is what it squirts ink out of.
These bizarre-looking predators are like something out of a horror movie, an alien animal totally unlike any fish I have ever caught.
Quite an impressive beast. Going back.
This squid is a decent size, but I'm told they grow twice as long, perhaps 8 times the weight. And there's something even more terrifying about these animals. Within seconds, another line goes, and they keep coming.
Here we go, coming over. Hey! Luckily that wasn't ink. Whoa! There's lots down here.
These cannibalistic devils rise from the depths to attack other squid struggling on the fishing jigs. I'm told they hunt in packs of more than 1,000. Then, as suddenly as they first appeared, they're gone. But I'm left in no doubt that these are the very same Diablo Rojo that invaded Mexico. And they are definitely the animal that has been attacking divers in the US.
grabbed my hand and yanked.
But what about the 5 dead bodies that started this whole investigation? Since I was unable to track down the marine biologist or find any hard evidence, I now suspect that story was a hoax. But I think this is a rare case where reality is worse than fiction.
Although the story that launched me on this investigation turned out to be made up, the creature that I found in the end, well, it's something that you just couldn't make up. It's all too easy to imagine falling into the water, 2 or 3 of them grab hold of you and take you down to the depths.
Anyone killed by Humboldt squid wouldn't wash up on a beach. They would disappear without a trace.
For me, the thing that's really creepy about them is the fact that they're here one minute, gone the next, and they can just pop up somewhere completely different.
This is a species that traveled 3,000 miles from Peru to Mexico. Where are they going to turn up next? My mission is complete, but for this plague of Humboldt squid, their story is far from over.
How about this? I've just picked up a message from one of our cameramen who lives in the Pacific Northwest of the US, and he's just heard that Humboldt squid have turned up there.
So who knows? They might be coming to a beach near you.
As a zoologist, my natural reaction to this, other than amazement, is to ask if an octopus can catch and consume a shark.